Hi guys, in this video we will be learning about international trade and access to markets, as well as barriers to trade and patterns of international trade.
Firstly, we're going to look at international trade and access to markets. And firstly, we're going to begin by looking at what is comparative advantage. And comparative advantage is essentially the reason why countries trade with each other. And the theory behind it is that countries should specialise in producing goods or services that they excel at producing, which means the things that they are good at producing. And this means that by producing those things they're good at producing, they can then trade for the things that they aren't good at producing. So for example, if we take the example of two countries, one is good at growing bananas and not good at growing apples, and the other country is good at growing apples but not good at growing bananas, they grow the item that they're best at growing, and then they can trade with the other one for the other item so that both countries have a supply of apples and bananas. And this also makes trade easier through having fewer barriers to trade, which will allow the countries to trade with each other for the items that they can't produce themselves. So theoretically, production should increase because of comparative advantage, both nationally and globally, and this is why and through each country concentrating on what they produce best. However, in the 20th century, trade has been limited due to regulations, protectionism, and high transport costs. So production hasn't increased as much as it has theoretically been expected to because of these limitations, but the removal of trade barriers will increase this amount of trade. So essentially what comparative advantage is, it's countries focusing on the items that they produce the best and then trading those for the items that they aren't good at producing. I previously just mentioned the role of barriers to trade and how this is reducing trade on both national and global scales. So now we're going to look at some of the barriers to trade and the idea of protectionism. Now, trade barriers are government-imposed restraints on the flow of international goods or services. So essentially they are restrictions on trade, and they can take the form of different types of trade barriers. So we have what are called trade tariffs, which are taxes on imports. So countries will have to pay a certain amount of money in order to trade. So that's what a tariff is, it's a tax.
Hi guys, to continue watching this video and unlock hundreds of other super concise and exam board specific A-level geography videos, just click the button. Join me today and together let's make A-level geography a walk in the park.